Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today your resident crazy crafter has another fun DIY designer-ish project. Now I'm sure by now you all know that I have an obsession with designer shoes and will totally splurge on used versions. I don't buy new. We've been over this. Check out the video link below if you are curious about my viewpoints on used versus new designer items. But anyways, I love the winter chunky combat boot heels, especially the ones from Louis Vuitton. These Star Trail boots are so cute and so iconic, and I absolutely adore them. I'm not sure if you guys know this or not, but I am a Louis Vuitton addict. I have so many bags and duffel bags and shoes and sneakers and scarves and wallets, and it's totally an obsession of mine. But lately, I've had a lot of fun buying the Louis Vuitton leather and using that for designer dupe-esque projects. If you are a hardcore, always buy original designer fan, you probably want to stop watching this video. But if you're like me and you just appreciate and love the prints and want to do fun stuff that they don't even make, or you can't afford the super expensive stuff, I took a little jewelry box and made it into my makeup travel case. I covered it in Louis Vuitton leather because the makeup case Louis Vuitton trunks are like $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, and there's no way I'm spending that much on a makeup case. I'm sorry. So as you can see, here's the original Louis Vuitton style one, and it is $8,000. And here's mine that I made out of a jewelry box. As you can see, it is pretty similar. It holds lots and lots of stuff, and I think it cost me about $75. I'm a pretty broke bitch, but even if I did have more money, I'm not sure that my soul would let me spend that much money on a makeup case. I also did my really fun steering wheel cover project, because I'm sure if you look up Louis Vuitton car interiors, you'll see there's tons of people that have taken the leather and completely redone whole interiors of cars with it. Unrelated to cars, for this project, we will be making a pair of those Louis Vuitton combat boots that I love so much. They retailed for, I think, about $1,500 on Louis Vuitton's website, and I have yet to find a used pair for less than like $700 or $800, which is still more than I really want to spend on a pair of shoes. So, I figured we're going to take some of this leftover leather that I happen to have laying around, and we're going to take a pair of combat boots in the same style and recover them ourselves. So if I haven't entirely offended you or talked your ear off so much that you've already stopped watching, we're going to go ahead and get started. For this project, we're going to need some adhesive glue. I'm using this Gorilla adhesive, some scissors, paper for stenciling with a pen, your material you want to cover, and your shoes. Alright guys, so to get started we're going to stencil our pattern pieces. So I'm just putting a piece of paper on top of my shoe and kind of tracing around where the edges are of the lace detail and the back. So I'm just going to kind of loosely stencil that and then cut it out, check the fit, and then adjust as needed. As you can see, it's not quite lining up perfectly on the bottom, so I'm just going to trim that a little bit more. This is kind of a guess and test method for me because it is kind of hard to see where the edges of your pattern need to be when you're using regular printer paper. Once I have that front edge curve properly, then I'm going to go ahead and start stenciling out the back side of the shoe, going along the bottom and then cutting out where that heel detail is. I'm sorry this part is kind of blurry and I keep cutting off screen, but hopefully you guys can understand what I'm doing here with this first pattern piece. Alright, so now you can see I have one side of one shoe patterned, so we're going to go ahead and do the other side. Now, do not line up on either side. Usually the inside of your shoe is a little bit taller than the outside just because of the way your foot fits into the shoe. So I'm going to start by doing this side the same way I did on the other side and just cut out the entire side detail with my stenciling, and then we will go back in and account for the zipper. As always, I have a fuzzy companion to help me with my projects. If you're wondering why there's different cats in all of my videos, that is because there are 5 cats that live in my house. Yes, I'm a little bit crazy, but I'm pretty sure if you're watching my videos, then you probably already figured that out. So it's really important to make sure that you're making your stencil the correct size for your shoe. So that's why it's super good if you can just stencil and then check and then trim a tiny bit. It does take longer than trying to do it all in one swoop, but I feel like the outcome is a lot better if you sort of guess and test and adjust as you go. Alright, so now that we got the main outline done, we need to account for where this zipper is going to be on the shoe because it does take up a little bit of width of material. So I'm going ahead and lay my pattern down and kind of trace down the middle of zipper. Make sure you're finding all the way down to the bottom of that zipper and marking that even, because you are going to be cutting out the pattern on the bottom, and we want to make sure that none of our material will be covering the zipper or there'll be an extra space under it where you see the original black shoe sticking out. So then I'm just going to go ahead and cut around, centered over my line, kind of the width of the zipper. Yes, I am eyeballing this. You could probably measure and be more specific if you wanted to, but I like to live my life on the edge, so I'm just going to eyeball it. And once we have that side done, we're going to go ahead and pattern the third piece, which is going to be on that front toe area. So to start off, I cut a strip of paper, and I'm going to go ahead and mark the edges of either side where it's lining up with that rubber sole on the bottom, and then slowly start to trace around where the sides come up over the tongue. So again, I'm kind of using a guess and test method to make sure that I am pulling the sides over far enough to get my stenciling just right. To get the sides adjusted, I'm going to go ahead and slip it underneath where the laces are coming out. The laces will kind of hide the fact that the entire tongue is not made of this material, so we're just going to make sure that it's tucking up all the way under the bottom edge of those laces. We want to make sure we're thinking about what position our pattern's going to be on top of our fabric. So this is flat with the top of the boot, so if you want it to be straight up and down on the shoe, then you're going to want that even at the top. Also, Louis Vuitton doesn't really cut off the logos, so we want to try to position the logos evenly so they're on top of the material. Once you're happy with the placement of your pattern, you're going to go ahead and trace it and cut it out. I found using a Sharpie worked best for it to not be super noticeable, but also stand out on the material enough that I can see to cut and trace it out. So once you've checked the fit on all of your pieces, we can go ahead and get started gluing them on. Again, I will be using this Gorilla Clear Grip Adhesive. It does bond to plastic and fabrics as well, which is kind of why I picked this, but I'm sure E6000 will work for this project as well. For the record, you cannot use hot glue. As you can see, I kind of already tried that and it didn't stick as well as I wanted to the outside of the boot and started to fall off. So we're just going to go ahead and start putting the glue around the edges of our material, and then we're going to line it up on the front edge of the shoe and press it down. Now this stuff does dry pretty quickly, but you are going to want to hold it for a good 5 to 10 seconds. Once I have that front section positioned where I want to, I'm just going to spread glue all over the side of the shoe and press the rest of it down into place. Now make sure that you are pressing firmly so that way it's all going to hold properly in place. Make sure you're holding those corners, checking all of the seams, making sure that everything is properly pressed down where you want it to be. Forgot to film me cutting this little piece out, but this is going to be the little tab on the back of the shoe. So it's just a strip, and then I'm going to tuck it in the back there with some glue so that way it will be firmly placed and look like it's sewn to the inside of that shoe. You're going to go ahead and repeat this process on the other shoe, just covering the whole section with glue and then pressing it down. I am going to do one side of the zipper first and then go back and do the other side of the zipper just to make sure that everything is staying lined up and nothing's going to slide around and potentially cover the zipper and get glue all over it so that way we can't actually use these boots. So now we are going in and doing glue on the other side. Again, you want to make sure you're really careful going around these zippers so you're not getting any glue on them, because if it does dry, then the zipper will probably catch and not function properly. For this back section, I just kind of folded it over so it looks like it has a nice little seam. So for this front section, make sure that you are tucking your piece in underneath the sides where the laces are so that way you won't see it sticking out, and then glue that down, and then I'm going to go back and add some glue on these side pieces once I've gotten the top part in position where I want it to. And remember, make sure that you are holding this down in place for a few seconds to make sure that the glue is going to set properly in the correct place. Alright guys, and here is the finished result. I really like how they came out. I do wish I had positioned the front toe piece a little differently because I do kind of have a sideways LV on them, but other than that, they are awesome, and I don't think anyone is ever going to notice that they are not the real deal. Well guys, I had a lot of fun filming this tutorial, and I think they came out really good. Obviously up close you can tell that there is leather on top of the shoe, it's not actually stitched into the shoe, but from a distance or someone seeing you walk by, they're never going to notice. They're totally going to think it's the real deal. I've actually worn these out a few times already, and I get so many compliments on them. Other people who have Louis Vuitton bags have complimented me on them and not said anything about like, oh, are those real? And people who have no idea what the brand is just think they look really cool, and I've gotten compliments from them too. So, all in all, pretty fun project if you're not up for spending thousands of dollars on some boots to wear in the snow. And in my opinion, it's kind of more practical sometimes to go the cheaper way, because these bad boys, I'm going to wear in the snow. And if they were real ones, I probably would never want to wear them outside like most of my heels. For instance, I have these ones, and I absolutely love them. They are authentic. They are a beautiful printed monogrammed fabric, and I don't wear them outside. Never wear them outside. They are inside office only. Sometimes I want to carry my look that I'm pairing with these shoes throughout my whole day, running errands, going in and out of stores, walking around outside. Maybe it's raining that day or snowing. Who knows? I live in New York. It could be anything. So that's part of the reason that I came up with these guys. I'm not worried to wear them outside. I don't care if they're going to get wet. So this was a perfect solution for me. Don't get me wrong, I still love my authentic Louis Vuitton boots. So if you liked this video and you're interested in seeing some more of my fun designer restorations, dupes, and other miscellaneous craft projects, then please subscribe to my channel and hit that little notification button so that way when I post a new video you can watch it right away. If you are so inclined to try out this project or come up with something similar, feel free to send it to me on Instagram. I would love to see what things you can come up with. And until next time, happy crafting, and I hope your day is as beautiful as you are.